Good afternoon. I want to welcome you to Bridge. It's where sermon meet real life. This is a conversation that I'm about to have with someone who's going to represent the children ministry, the young adults, and the adult ministry. This happened every afternoon, Sunday afternoon after the sermon. Today we had a wonderful sermon about sharing our trouble with one another, sharing our vulnerabilities with one another, and how that helps others, and how God is glorified through that. So my name is Pastor Simon. I have Sister Daphne with me here, Sister Ludi, and Pastor Samuel. So to start our conversation, now we know from the song we heard before the sermon, there are two big lies life tells us, is that we're supposed to have all our acts together. Everybody else's life is perfect except ours. And so because of that, every time someone asks us, how you doing? You know the normal answer, I'm fine. So my first question this morning is for the little ones, how do we shine light on those lies? What can they say, or what can they do to actually spread a little light on those lie that tells them, everybody else's life is perfect except theirs is the one that's messed up?
I think my kids, or kids in general, they're very honest. So I don't think this is a problem for them.
Okay.
Maybe the opposite. But for a kid that struggles with that, I would say, it would be how their parents help them out. Like if they get hurt playing outside, instead of saying, okay. No, be like, okay, the kid is not okay. Let them go to the process that, okay, you're not okay. We're going to get there.
Very good. Okay, so you're right. The kids are pretty honest and blunt. They'll even give you the answer when you don't want the answers. But let's get to young adults. How can young adults share light on those lies that says, you know what, everybody's got perfect A in this class. Everybody already know what their career is. They already know who they're gonna marry. They already have the mention somewhere, except I'm the only one who's messed up. How do we shed light on those lies?
I think it's by being honest and transparent. I think in the age of social media, it's easy to think like everybody's life is perfect. They have it all going on. No one's going to post on social media their struggles, going to post their achievements, like they graduate, things like that. But just knowing, like, being honest with each other. How are you doing, Daphne? Oh, you know what? I'm in school. I'm struggling with this class. Oh, I'm struggling too. So being honest and being transparent to know nobody's life is perfect. No, even if they know what career they want to go to, who they want to marry, just be honest with ourselves and with each other.
I think it's a very good answer. I would like to see on social media, like, your training process. I'd like to see your late nights that you sleeping late because you have to study. Most of the time, I just see your graduation. I see you dressed up. I'd like to also see if that's okay with you. So then when your hair is not fully done, I'm okay with that because no. Okay, this is exactly our point. This is what we're saying. We want to see the process. We want to see you, just like the song you and Sister Karen sang earlier. Beautiful, but I am sure you have to take time to learn the words, to learn when to comment and when to. I mean, it's just the process of real life. But sometimes we don't get to see it, which is not a good thing because we don't get to see the process. We don't get to see how God. So let's talk to Pastor Samuel qui représente messieurs nous qui représente adulte haïtien dans culture. Je connais ça bon genre difficile nous parler de ça. Qui gens pour être capable de mettre vérité sur menti ça qui dit ouais mariage c'est qui bon côté dans li parfait. Ouais monsieur ça travail assez li toucher plus comme tout pas très bien. Comment pour nous faire pour nous capable aider?
C'est une belle question. Merci Pasteur Simon pour question et vraiment ça c'est un problème que nous dans la communauté pas nous vraiment en culture haïtienne non ça sont partie dans la culture haïtien pas courir dit mon affaire comme ça. Nous voulons Kembele pour montrer que tout bagage OK malgré bagage pas OK vraiment. Et message là clair pense dans la question et normalement et comme si c'est Daphne dit tout à l'heure si moun pas bon mentir la donner la crise mais nous même nous sommes simplement cacher bagage là et vulnérabilité nous faut nous capable mettre dehors et faut nous capable honnête. Et c'est seule façon nous capable joindre délivrance vraiment comme message à t'a dit non côté que les nous fait ça nous bail mon Dieu gloire et il bon peut-être pas nous tout so on pense que et kembe bagay yo il pas fait nous bien comme chrétien premièrement nous bail menti comme chrétien et deuxièmement il pas un bénéfice pour nous-mêmes
Nation Jésus-Christ lui-même qui était 100% Dieu, 100% l'homme, il était grand goût, il dit le grand goût, il besoin de
Yes.
manger, il était fatigué, il besoin de repos. Et puis on l'a dans fin l'évangile nous Jésus-Christ l'a prié, il demandait aux disciples pour aider le prier.
Yes,
Il
yes.
partager souffrance liée avec eux. Ça
Exactement.
nous besoin d'apprendre pour nous capables partager une avec l'autre. On nous continue la conversation nous. Ça nous a connaît c'est comment how does sharing our affliction and troubles with others help glorify God? How does sharing what I'm going through, my suffering, how does that glorify God?
I think as children, some things that I think the kids do very well, they help each other. Sometimes we have to make them do it or encourage them. But for the most part, if a kid knows something and they see that another kid doesn't get it, be like, "Oh, I know how to do it. I can show you." So if they were struggling with something and they figured it out, they are more than happy when they see another person struggle to help them out with it. It's kind of like, oh, they were reinforcing the fact that they get this, they understand it. So I think maybe the adults could take a little bit of advice from their kids in that area.
You have a free morning this morning. You're like, but then you're right. We know our kids. Our kids will, this old joke when, the parents is inside and then someone knock on the door. They tell the kids, go say I'm not home. Guess what? The kids say my parents says I'm not. It's because they're very honest. So with young adults, how does she think about it? Because many times we don't share and other people are going through things next to us and they look at us. It looks just like the sermon says, it looks as if everything is perfect, right? Because all you share with me is your result. Oh, you got an A, but I didn't know when you were studying. So how does that help others when we share the process, when we share the bad times? How does it help to glorify God?
I think to piggyback on what Daphne said, kind of when we share, we could see the glory of God. So when I see, instead of me just seeing her graduate, but I've known her through the years, I've seen her study. So I've seen her like, hey, I got to take an hour to study for this test. So I see the process and not just the end result. So I'm able to see how glorious God is, what big things he can do. And when I share what I'm going through, it helps her to see, okay, I'm not alone. She's struggling with something and I'm struggling with something as well. So that way, that's a part of the message. If I'm able to help her, she's able to help somebody else, and the cycle continues.
That's correct. Very good. One thing I want to say is now what I love about the gospel, when we talk about Jesus, he doesn't show up at the end of the day when the victory is won. When you share while you're in the process, well, God is with me before I get enrolled in the school. God is with me, for example, while I'm studying to graduate, God is with me at the graduation. So we see a God who's with you before, in the middle, and after. It's good for me to know that. Then I know, okay, in my struggle, God is with me. So, des adultes, comment vous partager ça?
C'est bien, comme tu as dit tout à l'heure, que bon Dieu dans toute étape, c'est que c'est pour bagage c'est dans l'air glorifié non bon Dieu dans toute étape avant. So me penser façon moi même de répondre question ça pour adultes pour nous glorifier bon Dieu, vraiment c'est le regarder on monde grand problème malgré la endurer problème non. Et puis, ouais, moun sa a bas bon Dieu gloire, la dit béni soit l'Éternel, li en souriant parce que connaît bon Dieu là dans vallée ça ensemble avec lui. C'est-à-dire, li pas façon que li est et puis kounya la li bon vérité ouais façon que li est, on dit oh my God. Si moun sa a tout problème ça yo et puis pour li a glorifier comme ça pour la bas bon Dieu gloire comme ça li en souriant, c'est que ça lui même tout bail l'autre là on sorte d'encouragement. Je pense que
I want to also add that not just for the kids, but when you show the process, other people, like the children were saying, like you are relatable to them because something that as Christians we get, backlash on is that we're perfect. So not everybody.
Yes.
But when we share, it's like, oh, like they're normal people. They just have someone helping them.
Exactly. She's one of us. That's great. That's good. Yes.
Yeah. That's why, and in fact, that's why we get God, because we go through things just like everybody else. Thank you very much. That has been actually a very healthy and very productive conversation. Remember, this is the bridge where sermon meet real life. We appreciate the time. I hope you take the little ones and sit with them and gamun yo moun ki pi sage plus sage passer nous font ti chita attendre parole yo attendre comment message nous capable appliquer ou nous dans travail n'a parler avec Marie madame dans kala n'a parler à ti moun yo pour nous capable utiliser message yo pour nous capable appliquer yo pour nous faire bon Dieu plaisir dans la vie nous. This has been The Bridge. God bless you. I hope next week we get back together again and share the sermon. Thank you, Sister Daphne.
Amen.
Thank you, Sister Ludi. Thank you, Pastor Samuel.
Amen.
God bless you guys.
No problem.
C'est avec force nous qu'a fonctionné, nous consacrer.